Hello everyone, welcome to Köhler's 15th romantic etude. This etude is titled The Spinning Wheel, and this is because it has a nice 3/8 sort of feel to it, where everything should be going to one, and one should always be emphasized. You can see this very clearly in the first two measures, as the first 16th note is accented, telling you that this is important. And also these are high E's. I mean, they should be brought out. And they will be because they're high and they're loud. But emphasizing this is very important because you don't want to be playing because that's not what's written. The high note is always going to be the important note, especially in this etude, because it's accented. And it's really important to sort of isolate out where the melody is. I mean, it's very obvious in the first two measures, but in the third measure, it's not the low notes. You always want to be going that way. You don't want to be emphasizing the low notes in this etude. So through the first two lines, it should sort of sound like this. These are the important notes, and circling them, highlighting them, doing whatever you need to bring them out on your paper will also bring them out in your playing. Now in the next few measures after that, we sort of have this transitional material. We'll go into some chromatic scales, which make sure you're practicing your chromatic scales very often so you can easily nail these. And after the chromatic scales, we have this repeating figure that should get louder as it goes on. I mean, if anything is repeating, it should usually get louder as you go on, especially if it's 3, 4, 5 times. We have this repeated E major arpeggio that should really be brought out as it goes on. And you can rallentando as it's written until the a tempo in the next measure. And when we come back into this is a big cadence point. So emphasize that E, give it vibrato, give it vibrance, give it everything that it needs to sparkle. And we're actually changing into a major key here, whereas in the beginning we were in a minor key. It kind of sounds sad, a little kind of spooky maybe. In this section, it's the opposite. It should be kind of proud, joyous, confident, loud, and that's because the C's are now C sharps, and these should be emphasized. Not as much as the E's, because that's the melody, but make the audience aware that you're changing keys. We then have a bunch of arpeggios going down, and we land on this E natural in the bottom octave, then more arpeggios going up into a new cadence, and you can see that in measure 46, those arpeggios start. And once again, same as before, you should be getting louder as you go on because you're about to hit a cadence point. We do have a rallentando, which means back off the tempo a little bit, and then we're going to go back into a tempo when we come back into the melody at the a tempo at 50. And this is back in the minor mode, so you want to go back into the way you were playing it in the beginning. In measures 60 through 64, you want to sort of do a sudden dynamic change here. So the first one we go to a high F and a high E. The second one we go to a normal F, normal E, middle octave. So when we're going to the high, we want it to be louder than the middle octave. So I like doing a sudden change here. It does have a diminuendo written until the a tempo. I think it's more impactful if we really exaggerate the dynamics here. And in these last 5 measures, it's important to get slower. It's written allargando, which means, yes, get slower. And we also have a diminuendo. This means just broaden the sound. Don't get articulate with the sound. Some people, when they slow down, they'll go. You don't want to shorten everything. You kind of want to broaden, actually. You just want everything to get wider and more legato. You also diminuendo, and for the A at the end, you can maybe start it softer and then maybe grow a little bit to show that this is the final note. This etude is one of the most difficult, in my opinion, etudes in the Köhler Romantic Etudes. So I would practice this a lot, more than the other ones probably. Just remember that the feel is what's important. It's called the spinning wheel, meaning that you should have this very strong sense of 3 going to 1 all of the time. And I hope this helps you. If it does, please give this video a like. If you'd like to study with me, my website is devynflute.com, and you can book lessons with me on there. I'm recording all 25 of Köhler's Romantic Etudes, so please subscribe if you're playing anything else from this book. And thank you for watching.